guys, happy eating. So today we're just gonna be doing something real simple. Just gonna be grilling up some chicken. These are leg quarters, and I have some thighs for those that don't like drumsticks attached. Just simple seasonings here. Gonna be using some seasoned salt, lightly. Some New Orleans style, it's basically Cajun seasoning, or it's seafood and chicken seasoning is what it's called. I have a little bit of bacon chipotle. These are some of my favorite mixes. You can usually catch these on sale, like sometimes they're mix and match for like $2 for $4. So I'll pick up a couple of them at a time because these kind of go a long way. And we'll also be using just a tiny bit of mesquite seasoning. One thing I like to do is not make too much of a mess. Kind of reuse some of the packaging that it comes in so I don't have to, dirty a dish or anything. So I'll actually take the thighs out and just remove the little paper lining that's normally there to absorb any of the juices and whatnot. We're gonna leave the skin on here, but we will season a little bit underneath some of the skin and kind of pull it apart. But really, I'm just gonna cook it slow and low. Just simply cook it, nothing much to it. Happy eating. As we have the thighs here, just a thumb kind of underneath, just opening that pocket. But again, we wanna leave the skin attached, but I'll put a little bit of seasoning in here. Working the thumb underneath, but not off the edges. But again, so you just have a nice area of there, because again, I want to season under, because most people after we grill this are going to take the skin off, so I want to have all that seasoning into the chicken. The purpose of leaving the skin on rather than pulling it off is that it's really going to keep the moisture in. Also, some of that fat's going to render back into the meat and flavor it as well. At the end, we will probably be taking the skins off. Again, that's the eater's choice, whether or not they want to do it. The thing is that when we cook these, we'll cook the fat side down last. Otherwise, as the fire starts to get hot, that chicken starts to catch on fire, and that's the last thing we want. We don't want to burn or char the chicken. We only want to flavor it. So again, just not pulling the fat all the way off, leaving that skin on it, but just leaving a nice little pocket here so we can season on the inside of this. Same with the leg quarters. You can pretty much do the same thing. Just work your thumb just back and forth over that thigh. It's the same cut, just without the drumstick, and a little bit under the drumstick, because again, we'll be pulling this back and just putting a little bit of seasoning in here. This chicken, each pack was about close to $9. All of our grocery items that we've gotten today, so I picked up some green beans, I picked up some potatoes, some salad, the meat. I'm going to be doing some of those Red Lobster cheesy butter biscuits. Everything was about $40, $42 right on the button with tax and everything. So we typically eat restaurant style meals, but at a fraction of the cost. So if we were to go out as a family, I mean, this might be $100, $120 for the 5 of us to eat. We're having 2 folks over today for dinner, so we're going to be eating for 7. Yeah, again, for about 40 something dollars. So, it makes it really affordable. Taking some seasoned salt. Some mesquite seasoning. Some of that New Orleans or Creole style, so seafood and chicken seasoning. And some of that bacon chipotle. Just hand mixing this. And again, we'll just be coating this. So the chicken on the back side, just rubbing it into the meat. It's okay that we're spilling it into the tray here, because we're just going to be putting it down. So same thing, that pocket that we've created, just peeling the skin back a little bit and taking some of the seasoning and really rubbing it through and into the rest of that pocket that you've exposed, and just a touch on top. Again, just continuing to flavor it. So simple. We're going to be putting this right on the grill here pretty shortly. Sometimes you might want to leave this in the refrigerator. But I just picked this chicken up. I knew I was going to be cooking it today. Just seasoning it and putting it right on the grill, slow and low. Same thing with the thighs. Just a pinch or a dab just around the back, just getting it into the meat, working it in. and just a pinch of the spice underneath the skin, rubbing it back and forth with your thumb, just working it kind of into the meat, and then just another small pinch on top. Seasoned like this, thrown into a 1 gallon Ziploc bag, taken to the park for like a park barbecue. Just real simple. Again, just slow and low. That's the key to making this meat nice and tender, and all this flavor just kind of come together. I prefer thigh meat just because it stays pretty tender, pretty moist. It doesn't dry out typically like maybe breast or other white meat would. So and really dark meat, thigh meat like this, it's just great for the grill. You can pick up, sometimes your supermarket will call a mixed chicken pack is like they call it a picnic pack, and it has chicken quarters or thighs and sticks attached, maybe a few breasts in there as well. So whatever's on sale, sometimes it's worth it to shop at a few different places. When it comes to the rub, you want to apply it pretty liberally, probably twice as much as you really think. A lot of it's going to knock off the actual meat when we're grilling it, when we're turning it, quarter turning it, whatnot. So can't go wrong there. Just want to show you what some of that seasoned chicken's looking like. And here we're going to step outside and start preparing the grill for our fire. So we're going to be cooking this chicken about an hour actually. Again, just really slow on the grill. So it's time to light our fire.
What?
Boom. Just adding one other element here. I do have a smoker box I usually fill with some wood chips, so these are partially burned, but I'm just going to go ahead and start over with new, and we're going to go with mesquite since we're using some of that mesquite seasoning. So I do have some hickory, but I'm going to be using mesquite specifically for the chicken. So just got some mesquite chips, got my smoker box. Just a handful, that's all we need. I'm sorry, I'm not going to soak them, I'm just going to put them right on the fire. So you can pick up these smoker boxes, $5-6 at Walmart, any other place in your grill section. While you're there, pick up some cedar planks. I have a little hot spot on my fire that this typically will go over. That way, one, it protects the rest of the grill from catching fire right there at that place, and it provides a great heat source for this smoker box. So putting it right here on the fire. See how I might place that right there, just to cover over that hot spot. And kind of allow this to take. So we'll let this kind of heat the grill up for a little bit. I'll close it up, that way I can just brush it off real quick, make sure we're starting with a clean surface, and kind of go from there. So happy eating. So here we are, it's 5 o'clock. I want to eat at 6. So I'm going to be cooking this chicken for about an hour, 50 minutes or so. For me, the hottest part of my fire is actually right here at the top. So my thicker cuts of meat, the thigh and leg together, I'll actually be placing towards the top with the thigh down here. I'm also going to be cooking this rather than at first, because I don't want the heat to get super hot, so I don't want to leave it closed and just let the heat build up. Again, I want to do these slow and low over an open fire, so I'm going to actually leave the grill open for the first half of cooking. So I'm going to leave them on these sides and then quarter turning them later. So again, just kind of interlacing, taking advantage of the space of the grill. What I don't want is a fire. I always recommend having a good spray bottle, just with water. Something you can just really quickly target where you might have a flame on your fire, and that way you're not ruining or getting rid of the spices, and you're not just dousing the fire with, say, like a cup of water or something like that. So just a helpful tip. So all those extra spices that were left in the tray, we'll just kind of liberally shake them over again. No spice left behind. Also, one last dish we have to clean. And that makes the wife happy. Now that we have these guys seared on the bottom, I just moved them up to the upper rack. And now I want to raise up that temperature. Still want to cook them slow and low, but I just didn't want to have any flare-ups. There's just too much fat on here that's going to drip over the side and really cause, with that skin on there, it typically causes, really a significant flare up. So again, we don't want to burn the meat, we just want to cook it. I'm going to let that temperature come up for just a little bit by closing the grill and letting it cook. As we have that chicken cooking behind us, I just want to tell you about some of the other dishes that we're going to be pairing along with this. So we have some roasted potatoes that I'll be putting in the oven. Again, fan of the Little Potato Company. Very simple. Some of the same seasoning that we're using. Some of the mesquite as well as the bacon chipotle, some extra virgin olive oil, and some fresh rosemary. We grow our herbs here in our garden and just take from there. So I'll be putting that all together. I'm also going to be steaming some green beans together, some Christopher Ranch roasted garlic. I'd love to show you if you guys could pick it up at your supermarket. Very affordable. It adds so much flavor to your side and saves you the time of having to roast the garlic yourself. It's very affordable, just a few dollars for a pack, and it goes a long way. Very robust in flavor. Again, Christopher Ranch, if you can pick up roasted garlic. If you don't have it in your supermarket, ask them. They can probably order it. Christopher Ranch is one of the largest garlic makers in the area. They're right out here in California, out of Gilroy. If you can get their roasted garlic, it's very, very tasty. So we'll be steaming those green beans, pairing together the potatoes, and as well cooking some of those Red Lobster cheesy biscuits. I also have a side salad that I'll be making, just an American. It's got romaine hearts, iceberg lettuce, carrots, radishes, and I'll be blending in some spinach, some cherry tomatoes, and maybe a poppy seed dressing. This will all go together. Very simple to make, just a backyard barbecue. Happy eating. So here we are right at 5:30. So the chicken's already been cooking for about a half an hour, and I'm right at the point where I want to start flipping it over, and I'm going to cook each of these sides, quarter turning, 15 minutes aside. So as you see, none of the chicken is burnt, but it's just got some nice searing to it. Same thing with these legs and thighs up top. Just be turning it over. All of this heat is rising right up to the top. So it's going to continue to cook them. My fear is that if I put this skin side right directly on the fire, it's immediately going to start flaring up. So leaving it here on the top grill will allow it to kind of heat and cook slowly, so we don't have any huge flare-ups. So we'll just leave it like that, and then we'll continue to sear and finish it off on the bottom side of this grill, but just a little bit later. Really want to make sure that this dark meat's fully cooked, nice and tender. Right at 5:45, I'm going to be quarter turning this chicken, making sure that it's not catching fire, thoroughly getting cooked. And this is really the point that we want to start watching it, because again, all the temperatures are just right for fires to actually start, and we have pretty massive flare-ups. Also, going to be moving down these legs and thighs for the quarter chickens. Just going to be moving those down to a hotter, higher heat, searing them shut and fully cooking. Potatoes are fresh out of the oven. Fresh out of the oven, still sizzling. We'll let those cool down. We got the chicken off the grill. Got those Red Lobster cheese biscuits. Steamed in the microwave are some green beans with roasted garlic. So here we are. Dinner's prepared. We're going to be serving up everything all together. People can get their own plates and servings, but we got some green beans with roasted garlic, a nice fresh salad, garden salad, some Red Lobster biscuits, and that slow grilled leg and thigh. So we'll put it all together. I'll show you how I dish it up. Happy eating.